Jiachwich, and welcome back. It's already the beginning of March, and I'm celebrating with some Irish soda bread. The devil, Roman gods, fairies, and federal bans. While I dehydrate these currants, let's discuss some Irish soda bread history. In 1791, Nicolas Leblanc isolated sodium carbonate, followed by sodium bicarbonate in 1801 by Valentin Rose the Younger. In 1846, two brothers-in-law, John Dwight and Austin Church, created companies making this sodium bicarbonate or baking soda. Dwight created the brand that had the famous cow, or cow brand saleratus, saleratus being Latin for aerated salt. When Austin Church retired, his son took over the business and brought over a little piece of his own, Vulcan Spice Mills. Well, Vulcan, the Roman god of forge and fire, was now the new symbol, the arm and hammer for Church & Co. soda. And it was in 1896 that the two companies finally got together, eventually becoming Arm & Hammer. Back in Ireland, however, the mid-19th century did not fare well for the Irish people. Ireland was never a particularly wealthy country, and years of famine left it financially devastated. Finding a way to make quick, easy, and affordable bread was a huge success for the Irish people. This method of baking bread only required 4 ingredients: flour, salt, baking soda, and buttermilk. In fact, the first written mention of Irish soda bread comes from the Farmer's Magazine in 1836, where it was written along with a recipe. That recipe had all of those 4 ingredients and their measurements, along with the method of cooking it, which really included throwing it into a Dutch oven or some type of pan with a lid on top. And it was said that when somewhat cooled and moderately buttered, was as wholesome as ever entered a man's stomach. So I'm trying it out myself. So the recipe didn't say what type of flour, so I'm going to use 3 cups of white flour and 1 cup of whole wheat flour. And the only other thing I'm doing differently, at the end, I am going to fold in all of those dried currants. Adding the 3 dry ingredients together. You know, it's funny, most people, you either love or you hate Irish soda bread. I used to despise Irish soda bread, and over the past so many years, I really have started to like it more and more. I'm really excited that I'm trying this recipe out. I'm just making a little divot to start adding in the buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, go ahead and use some spoiled milk. Some sour milk will do just that. It has enough acid that and the baking soda will create that little reaction, making those nice little bubbles of carbon dioxide, creating an extra fluffy aerated dough. It's similar to this process that happened with the tomato soup and baking soda when I made the cake. If you haven't seen that episode, go check it out. Now I'm trying to get the dough together without working it too much. I don't want to knead it. I want to keep it nice and fluffy. But I am going to need to fold in these dried currants that I almost forgot to put in. Now wait, you say, Rob, why are you using dried currants? Why not raisins? Well, I'll tell you why. With the Great Hunger causing a huge increase of Irish immigration into the United States, Irish soda bread quickly grew in popularity. Typically, it was currants that were used in the making of Irish soda bread. However, their bushes were bringing about a fungus known as white pine blister rust, which was devastating the lumber industry, and the government had to do something about it, so the USDA put a ban on all currants in the United States. People resorted to using raisins instead, and it stuck. Back to my current bread making situation. Alright, no more puns. Gonna cut across into this bread and put a mixture of melted butter and buttermilk on top. Now, why the cross? Well, some say it is the Gaelic cross. Being a highly Christian country, this makes sense. However, others say that it's to let out the fairies, or even to let out the devil. But scientifically, just cutting the bread like this allows it to cook more evenly throughout the center. And it kind of makes it easier to cut. I'm just going to check this bread and make sure that I didn't screw it up. Yeah, that toothpick's coming out nice and clean. A damp towel while it cools so it doesn't dry out. And look at this beauty. Alright, my first time making Irish soda bread. Let's see how it turned out. Just gonna whole quarter here. Oh, that looks great. Nice thick piece here. Irish butter, of course. That's soda bread. I never really enjoyed soda bread growing up. And then, like 10 years ago, something changed, and every March I get more and more excited for soda bread. I love it now. For myself, making this the first time ever, I give this a 6.8. I definitely know I can make this better. I can add sugar to it. Tastes a little bit more like what you'd buy at the store. I wanted to do a traditional recipe. Sugar is not a traditional ingredient, but I think this is really, really good. Give it a shot. St. Patty's Day is coming up. Make it yourself. And guys, I'm going back in time each week to make new recipes, so like and subscribe to see more.